Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time that you're listening to this. I really do appreciate the fact that you're here and that you have taken a decision to want to hear from the Lord. And may the Lord honor that. May the Lord honor your time. May the Lord honor the fact that you are drawing near to Him. May He draw near to you and may He speak to you. And may He speak to you so clearly that you would understand exactly what He is saying to you. Today we are looking at Psalms chapter 136 and I'm going to be reading this from the English Standard Version. I really do hope that you have read it. It has 26 verses and it has a very interesting layout of how it's been written because every verse has 2 lines and one of those lines is for His steadfast love endures forever, and that continues all the way from verse 1 to the last verse. So this is how I'm going to read it. Or rather, let me read it. Give thanks to the Lord for He is good, for His steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods, for His steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him alone does great wonders, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who by understanding made the heavens, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who spread out the earth before the waters, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who made the great lights, for His steadfast love endures forever. The sun to rule over the day, for His steadfast love endures forever. The moon and the stars to rule over the night, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who struck down the firstborns of Egypt, for His steadfast love endures forever, and brought Israel out from among them, for His steadfast love endures forever. With a strong hand and an outstretched arm, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who divided the Red Sea into two, for His steadfast love endures forever, and made Israel pass through the midst of it, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who led His people through the wilderness, for His steadfast love endures forever. I've missed verse 15. It says, let me start from verse 14. Actually, let me start from verse 13. To Him who divided the Red Sea into two, for His steadfast love endures forever, and made Israel pass through the midst of it, for His steadfast love endures forever. But overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who led His people through the wilderness, for His steadfast love endures forever. To Him who struck down great kings, for His steadfast love endures forever, and killed many mighty kings, for His steadfast love endures forever. Sihon, king of Amorites, for His steadfast love endures forever. And Og, king of Bashan. I don't know whether it's Og or Og. I'm just calling him Og. For His steadfast love endures forever. Verse 21. And gave their land as heritage, for His steadfast love endures forever. A heritage to Israel His servant, for His steadfast love endures forever. It is who remembered us in our low estate. I like that. It is He who remembered us in our low estate, for His steadfast love endures forever, and rescued us from our foes, for His steadfast love endures forever. He who gives food to all flesh, for His steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord, to the God of heaven, for His steadfast love endures forever. Wow. Oh my goodness. Psalms 136, of course, is unique. It's very unique in its layout. Each of the 26 verses ends with the same phrase, that His steadfast love endures forever. It is a psalm of thanksgiving and worship to God, celebrating God's power over nature and over His enduring blessings on the nation of Israel. It's very similar to Psalms 135 that we read yesterday. And the author of Psalms 136 thanked God for being superior to other gods, for working great wonders and miracles, for making the earth, for sustaining all the living things, for having power over the sun, the moon, the stars, and over all the nature, for rescuing them from Egypt and the slavery that was happening there, for the kings that He destroyed and gave their lands to Israel. It's just like many things that God had done for them. So Psalms 136 and the whole book of Psalms as a whole are a good reminder that we need to spend a lot of time thinking about God's enduring love than our imperfect and changing hearts that fail to love God with consistency. Like most of the time we are constantly thinking about how our hearts can't do this or we've done this instead of thinking about the things that God has done. Sometimes human has two ways. Either you're feeling so bad because you can't love God consistently, or you're over glorifying yourself because you've done this and this and this and this. And which is one of the things that Pharisees got wrong in the New Testament. They spent so much time thinking about their own faithfulness and too little time thinking about God's enduring love and faithfulness. They were not meditating on Psalms 136 or anything like it. They were meditating on how good they were at keeping all the fine details of God's law and judging others who fell short of their standards. And the same way we can also grow very proud like the Pharisees when we spend majority of our times thinking about ourselves and our own perceived goodness. So take some time. Take some time and think on the events in your life, just the way that they have been showcased up in Psalms 136. God created, God sustained, God rescued them from Egypt, how he rescued them from Pharaoh at the Red Sea, how he fought all the nations and gave their lands to the Israelites. Take time to think on the events of your life that showcase that God's steadfast love endures forever. List them down as if you are honestly rewriting Psalms 136. And for every one of them, proclaim every one of those events, every one of those situations that God has taken you from, every fine detail that you can be able to master. Write it down, and for every one of them, proclaim loudly that his steadfast love endures forever. Let us find reasons to praise the Lord, and let us focus on the things that God has done for us and be able to almost like write a history of ourselves, of the things that has demonstrated that God's steadfast love endures forever. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next week.